Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the G-Spot. I'm Gila Zak, certified hypnotherapist, and this is a place where we talk about all sorts of cool things that relate to human behavior and unconscious programming. Today's episode might be a bit short, but it is probably one of the most important things that people think about, maybe that I get asked about a lot, and that is, what is the difference between talk therapy and hypnotherapy? And if you're watching this, you might have even searched on the interwebs, therapy, how do I get help for this? How do I finally let that shit go? And today we're going to talk about the subtle and the significant differences between psychotherapy and hypnotherapy. Psychotherapy in and of itself is relatively new. It's only been about since about the middle of last century, and it works on a conscious cognitive level. The psychotherapist is going to give their client rich understanding and awareness of how their experiences have affected them. Very often that, it wasn't about you. You weren't the problem. You're a construct of the environment into which you were born. The psychotherapist is going to be there to listen, to be warm, to be nurturing, sometimes to be a little pointed, to say, we need to get you moving in this direction. They're going to give you tools and resources and things that you can use in real time to get yourself where you want to be. Mindfulness practices is a very common one. Journaling is another. They're going to give you cognitive behavioral exercises to pull you back into the present moment, out of the past and into the present from a conscious and cognitive perspective. They're very likely going to give you communication skills and learning to understand your partner or the family dynamic in a way that perhaps you hadn't even considered before. So essentially what you're getting is this rich, wonderful landscape that you get to navigate in a new way. So if you think as the psychotherapist is helping you to navigate your way through the dark forest of whatever the trauma or the limiting experience or the conditioning, whatever we want to call it, if you can consider it as like a dark forest, the psychotherapist is going to help you to navigate through that experience more effectively. It's like they're going to give you the lantern to help you see the path that maybe you hadn't seen before. Psychotherapy is brilliant for helping people to experience deep reflection, emotional processing, but it tends to take place over a long period of time. And sometimes people can get stuck in that process. It's not unusual. It's not saying anything about the therapist or the client. It's just human nature. It's who we are. Sometimes we need a little something extra, a little something different. And this is where the hypnotist can come in. In hypnotherapy, we are working with the subconscious mind. We're going directly to the source of how you found yourself to be in the dark forest in the first place. Now, we know that what happened to you is not because of you. We know that you are more than what you've been through. But that dark forest can sometimes be really difficult to navigate if at the subconscious level, you don't even think that the light, the lantern, is going to be enough to see you through. Hypnotherapy is not just a bridge between the subconscious and the conscious mind, but it also becomes a metaphorical bridge, a way for us to find our way out of that dark forest. And sometimes when we're stuck, we're kind of at that precipice where we want to see our way to the other side, and maybe we can, it's just right there. But it's like there's a tightrope between here and there. And we know that if we take that next step, we're going to feel a little uneasy, a little wobbly, even if we have the lantern that we were given to come through the forest. Maybe we realize that we really want to get there, but one wrong step and that would be the end of us, wouldn't it? What the hypnosis does is it says, let's use our imagination. Let us construct from all of that richness that you experienced in psychotherapy. Let's build upon that and create an actual bridge between the precipice of where you are and where you want to be. A place that's wider, more sturdy and stable than your thinking mind could have ever thought it could be. So that when you start to take those steps with the lantern, you just feel more stable. There's more structure to it. And the subconscious mind is building the foundation through hypnotherapy to let every step of the way just feel more solid, more stable, more secure, so that you don't have to feel like any little step off is going to have you falling into your demise. One of the biggest takeaways is that psychotherapy helps us to recognize the trauma. So many people don't even realize that their behavior is a result of trauma. Hypnotherapy says, what do we do with that realization? Hypnosis is action-oriented, it's forward-focused. Sometimes people will come to me very often as referrals from psychotherapy or even psychiatry, and they sit down and they want to tell me the story. And I quite frankly, I say, I'm going to pause you right there because this isn't talk therapy, and I'm not a talk therapist. It's not in my scope. I just need to know how you're feeling, how you want to feel, and let's build that bridge between here and there together. Hypnotherapy can help you to not just have intellectual understandings of things, but to shift the internal mechanism of how you are behaving as a result of that. And once you change those internal structures and internal mechanisms, then your external world just starts to shift and change in a way that feels really natural, really normal, sometimes more effortless than, we had ever dreamed it could be. So what are some of the tools that the hypnotist is going to give you? Well, we're going to use embedded suggestions. We're going to use direct suggestions. We're going to do what's called future pacing, putting you into that imaginative state. You already have the resources. Instead of just the lantern, you now have an entire sunlight that's shining upon you that can illuminate other internal resources you didn't know you had inside of you and help you to navigate the rest of the way through. The language of the subconscious mind is symbol and metaphor. It's so rich in the way that it wants to communicate through your imagination. And we use this in hypnosis to symbolically shift the way that the issue or the problem is presenting itself to you. And when there's a different metaphor, you're going to feel it. It's just going to express itself differently. An example of this would be when I go into a small room, I all of a sudden get claustrophobic. Well, you could go to the talk therapist and you could understand why this happened. Well, maybe I was zipped in my sleeping bag when I was 2 years old or 10 years old or whatever it was. And so then from that point forward, you realize how you learned to be this way. But you can't talk yourself out of fear when it comes in that big, because for people who have claustrophobia, very often the metaphor is that it's like the Incredible Hulk that comes into the room and sucks all the oxygen, all the space out, and there's nothing fucking left for me. So metaphorically, we change that messenger. We change the story. We go back to the original experience, not to relive it, but to reframe it. And then from there, we can give a different symbol, a different feeling, a different metaphor to what it is to be inside of a small room. Maybe it's cozy. Maybe it feels a place where you can kind of relax and breathe and just feel into the space that is available to you. So this is kind of a key example of how we can use symbolic imagery at the unconscious level to help someone change. One of the core tenets that we do with hypnosis is help people to anchor these core emotional states that are the resources. So we don't just have the lantern anymore. We haven't just crossed over the bridge onto terra firma, new solid terrain, an entirely new landscape. But now the sun is shining and it's illuminated all these other resources and tools. And the hypnotist is going to help to anchor this for you. And in future episodes, you're going to see techniques for exactly how I can teach you to do this, how to anchor a feeling that you want to hold and use in a particular environment or experience, or to use in your everyday experience. But a sneak peek at this would be something like anchoring in, going into a place where you feel really solid and secure, really safe and serene. What's that like? Build it up, activate and acclimate your senses to it. Let your body's chemistry respond to it. And then once you feel that way, just touch and press your fingers together. Press and release, press and release. Or some people like to press and hold. Just hold it right there, whatever you like to do. You can't do it wrong, remember? And then once you've got this going, you take 3 or more deeply calming breaths. Go ahead and take them with me if you like. One more, because it's going to feel good. And we anchor in the state by suggesting to the client that anytime you want to feel this way, you just touch your fingers, press them together in this familiar way. You take those 3 or more anchoring, calming, refreshing breaths, and you allow your mind and body to shift into the state you want to feel. And the interesting thing is, you don't even need to be in hypnosis for this to work for you, because you learned it and you anchored it in hypnosis. I cannot emphasize enough how both journeys are sacred. Both journeys are important. Both journeys are necessary. To have a skilled and caring and qualified, wonderful professional who can lead you through the forest, who can give you the lantern, who can show you the path, that is a beautiful and priceless gift. And to find a practitioner, a hypnotist, a hypnotherapist, who can say, okay, you got to where you think you could be, but we can take you a little further to the other side where you really want to be. They're both sacred journeys. Neither is better or worse, just very different. And if you think that hypnosis could help you, if this is piqued your interest in any way, then put your questions or comments down below. If you're looking for a qualified hypnotherapist, there are many organizations out there that you can look up and find qualified people in your area or even people online to help you. If you are a psychotherapist and you found this video helpful, please put your comments down below. I think that there can't be enough options and resources for people to find their way to health and well-being, both emotionally and physically, mentally and spiritually. And if you're someone who has sought out therapy and you've had both kinds, put your comments and feedback down below to help other people see the ways in which sometimes using both of these therapies combined can really be the missing link you've been looking for. As always, your time is precious, and I truly appreciate you spending it with me here at the G-Spot. And until next time, be well, be happy, and be kind to your mind.